Frank Burruel is with us. He is the down payment assistance guru, and we all get to learn together. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and I want to learn about the down payment. One of the things that I hear, especially from young people, is, prices are difficult in California. We know that. We pay a price to live in this great state, get our climate. Where we're sitting right now, we're a half hour from the beach, an hour and a half from the mountains, an hour and a half from the Coachella Valley. Where else can you do something like that? But it's hard to afford all this stuff.
It is.
So how does a young person buy a house? I mean, down payment assistance seems like it might be the right solution.
It is. And California has one of the best programs out there.
Explain it to me a little bit.
Yeah, the main program that they offer, the state has, it's a bond program, and it's the Cal HFA state program, and it's one of the most accessible programs throughout the country. It's set up by the California Housing Finance Agency, and it's a leader in down payment assistance. Other states actually kind of follow along with California's program because it does so well. So there's states like Washington where we've helped set up their program in the wholesale community. And so the product in California, which I do a lot of business on, has been around for over 20 years. And
so it's not like one of these that run out of money.
No, it's not. And that's a good question, because some of the municipality programs out there, sometimes you'll see that there's small groups running those programs, and they'll be tight on funds, and they maybe have it for a couple of weeks and then they run out of funds.
That scares you though, because as a consumer advocate, I look into something like that and I say, okay, if somebody's listening to us and they get all excited about getting down payment, like a year or two ago, we had that Dream for All program.
Right.
And, it got started, it got all kinds of media, and it ran out of money. Is the Cal HFA program going to run out of money?
Yeah, the Cal HFA program is a fully funded state program, and they replenish the funds with mortgage bonds. And so it's a self-sufficient program. And so they do run in some programs where they run them short term, but the state is great about it. The state tells you up front, hey, we're going to offer a new program. Over the last 5 or 6 years, you've had 3 they've rolled out. They've rolled out the Dream for All, the ADU program, and the Equity Builder program. We're not going to cover that today, but those programs, you'll talk to Ron, he'll set you up and let you know when those kind of roll out. But when those do roll out, they are limited funds, and they kind of tell you and move you along that. And those are great programs, but they're limited funds, and you will jump in when you're ready. But the state on that program is really on top of it, and they'll let you know when those programs release.
So when we talk about when we come back, I want to talk about who qualifies for the Cal HFA program. That's a big issue. Who's going to qualify? How much money do you have to make, or how much money are you limited to making?
Right, yeah.
How much can you get in down payment? Do I have to pay it back? Do I have to make payments? We're going to talk about all that when we come back. Continuing our conversation, we're talking down payment assistance today with Frank Burruel. And so, Frank, let me ask you this question. During the bidding wars, did you come across issues where people could not use down payment assistance? Did it take extra time, or is that a myth?
I think it depends on the different type of program that you do. But with the Cal HFA bond program, we did not run any challenges with that. I think that sometimes the agents would prefer not to use a down payment assistance program. But, nowadays with this program, it's so efficient, you can close these in 21 days. So yeah.
21 days?
Yes.
Okay. And if somebody's gone and gotten a certified pre-approval from our team,
yes.
Then you're doing some of your due diligence up front. So that makes it a more comfortable time period.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about the program, basically, the program that the state offers right now is called the My Home program, and it's giving you down payment assistance. Basically you can choose one of 2 options. You can choose the conventional option and you're getting 3% funds from the state, or you can choose the government option, or FHA, and then you're getting 3.5% from the state. Now, the state also offers the option to get third mortgages where you can.
Well, you're going way too fast.
You can use for closing costs. Yeah. So
I know
fast,
Frank.
It's fast.
You got to slow down for me. I'm a simple guy. So if we go with the My Home program and I get a 3% conventional, so that means I've probably got a little bit better credit situation. Is that why you're going conventional instead of FHA, or why would I want to go
Perfect. Yeah, you would usually choose the conventional option if you ended up having a little bit better credit. FHA, you can go down to the 640 FICO stuff on this product. So
Okay.
yes.
And now if I'm getting down payment assistance on that through the My Home program, is that increasing my payment, or what are we doing there?
Those seconds are silent seconds. So they're
silent second.
So
they got to explain silent second.
Yeah. So they're going to hang on there until you refinance. And so, a lot of these transactions will be, you're getting into the home because of, limited funds maybe, but down the road, you'll reach out to Ron again and he will get you into a good rate to refinance and pay off this stuff down the road. But it is silent. You make no payments on it. And it accrues simple interest at 1%. Some of the seconds and thirds accrue no interest. So
there's various programs. We don't want to get too specific.
Yeah, we don't want to get too granular. Yeah,
we want to get the 30,000 foot level, and you can give us a call and we'll give you more specifics and make sure you know everything you need to know to make the best decision for your family. So is there a time I have to wait? I mean, if I get this down payment assistance and I go out and I think tonight the lottery is like $800 million and I win it, do I have to wait a specific amount of time to pay that back? Are there penalties or anything like that?
No, I mean, you could leave that loan on there for 30 years.
Okay.
And it can hang out there and it'll be due. But most people, we see them refinance anywhere from 3 to 5, 6, 7 years after. It's basically,
which the norm is 5.2 years anyway. So it's not out of the norm.
It's not out of the norm. No.
Okay. So that's a pretty simple thing. We don't get penalized if we wait that 5 years, and it's not like the state becomes our partner in the house. They're just going to get their money back.
Yeah,
with their interest or whatever.
Yeah, and it is a matter of funds, so to speak, because if you were a buyer and you had $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, easier to get into a home with a traditional FHA or conventional loan. When you're running into the $10,000, $20,000, $15,000, $5,000 range, these down payment assistance programs, if you're paying $4,000, $5,000 a month in rent, you're making a mistake by not getting in with a loan program like this, and paying all that money for a mortgage versus paying it for rent.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Now, if I had a house 5 years ago, can I use this, or is it only for somebody that's a first-time buyer?
Yeah. So it is for first-time home buyers. So you wouldn't want to have had owned a home in the last 3 years. Now, if you own that home 5 years ago and then you sold it, 4 years ago or what have you, and you still haven't been renting for the last 3 years, you would be eligible to do this program as a first-time home buyer.
Okay, so it's not just there's a definition of first-time.
That's
buyer.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, and so in California, we're looking, and I think or Orange County, I think we've got like a $1.2 million median home price.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the state does a good job of kind of like matching up the income restrictions for, the buyers and the properties. And, we all know there's, limited resources and for properties and sales prices for the new first-time home buyers and the millennials and stuff like that. But the income limits are pretty flexible. Just to give you an example, for the county of Orange County, you're looking at 270 income limit. So
that's a big number.
It's a big number. LA County's like 211, Riverside, San Bernardino, 205K. So really, you shouldn't have any problems getting into a home or a condo in the 850 sales price range. So we do see a lot of condos if you get into the hot areas of LA or the hot areas of Orange County. But when you get out towards the Inland Empire a little bit, you will be able to get into some more single families.
So that income restriction in many instances is not much of a restriction.
It's not. It's pretty flexible. Whereas when you get into some of the municipality down payment assistance programs, they'll stick you with some, low income type of guidelines. So your only options may be a studio condo and that kind of thing.
Or somebody's garage.
Yeah. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with those programs. It's just if you want ease, and the Cal HFA bond program is awesome.
Now, it used to be that one of the things that I was against the bond program, the Cal HFA, is it always seemed like the interest rates were way higher than everything else. Is that the case?
No, I mean, like I said about funds, it is definitely a funds issue. If you have a little bit of funds, I'm saying like 10, 15,000 saved, you set yourself up to get the best rates possible for this program. If if you do need the third mortgage for closing costs and such like that, you will bump your rate a little bit, but they're all market rates. Ron kind of gave you those at the beginning of the segment there, and it's just maybe a tidbit higher than those. And so it's definitely market rates. The state does a good job trying to make them accessible for you guys.
And that's a good thing. I mean, and we don't, we talk about what happened yesterday on rates. So obviously that's not available today, but it gives us an idea, because everybody's going to have their own qualifications and the like. So we don't want to really get too much into specifics on rates, but when if it's going to cost me a little bit more and, I get this assistance on the down payment, it becomes, well, what's your rate on the rent? Right? You're paying 100%. It's 100% gone.
That's right.
Right. So the concept here is if you can get into something, why not own your own piece of your future?
Yeah, we all know that appreciation rates in California versus renting it's just common sense.
Well, and you look at it, because I hear people all the time saying, well, home prices, and I did it in our Mortgage Minute today, talking about the idea, okay, home prices are appreciating at like 1.9%. Okay, and I can't do the math on my head for that, but let's just say Orange County generally, historically, over 63 years, about 5.3%. Now, if you're putting down 3%, the 5% appreciation is on the 97 plus 3, right? So if you got an $800,000 property, It's appreciating at, call it $40,000 a year, and you've put down maybe $10,000. So your return on investment your return on your cash is staggering.
That's right.
Way better than what it would be if you were thinking about renting. But we're going to continue. We're going to go through some more examples here with Frank when we come back. We're going to spend the rest of our time this morning with Frank so we can get more educated on this. Seems like a pretty interesting program to me, because I know some people who are thinking about buying houses. They weren't born into a silver spoon scenario. So they're saving some money on their own, trying to buy a new house. And, Frank, I've used this line many, many times, and it doesn't fit as well in August as it does in December, but it works anyway. So there's a lot, especially, well, maybe it does, going back to school time. I see a lot of people going back to school, back to college. And, there's folks out there that they went to mom and dad or granny and grandpa and said, hey, would you help me out? I need a new Apple computer. The old one's only 2 years old, but, the silver on the screen doesn't look quite the same as everybody else's silver on the screen. Then I say, something? For granny and grandpa, why don't you help out with buying a new house instead of buying the Apple computer? And with this program, it kind of allows them to, an Apple computer is probably going to set you back about $4,000. And, I think that might help a little bit on the down payment assistance programs, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, these programs are not too complicated, and they do a good job of making it easy for the buyers. I think the crucial thing, and even if you talk to the state, they knew I was going to do the radio program. And they told me, the biggest part of this program is getting prepared. And it's just like with anything, with being a first-time home buyer, you want to do a couple things to make it easier for yourself. And you do need good partners, good real estate agents, good loan officers. So having somebody like Ron or even us to partner with you in these types of programs, it can make this process so much easier.
That it's interesting that you say that, because that's one of the things we talk about a lot. And, we've done our certified home buyer program, rsrlinks.com/certified buyer. And it starts out with a consultation. And I'm going to submit, Frank, that it's going to be a whole lot easier for the entire process if somebody goes and gets certified, where they've had the consultation, they've submitted their income documentation, maybe they need their tax returns, had their credit reviewed to see what program makes sense for them, and then start that home buying process. Now, Frank, you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. And I've yet to see where somebody went and looked at a $2 million house and got excited when they went and saw that $500,000 condo. They got spoiled, right?
Sure.
And so it becomes very difficult. So if you know that you've got a $500,000 budget or $700,000 budget or $800,000, whatever the number is, it's your castle. and you look at the appropriate property and say, that's going to be my castle, my first step, that's going to be more exciting than trying to compare it to something that's, out of your way. Don't you think do you see the same things?
Yeah, I mean, I see, the buyers and the millennials that are looking to use these types of programs. They are very popular. They're very much so in the social media, and I think that the program is getting legs a lot. And people want to be their own buyers. They don't want to take all the funds from their family and such like that. And this program gives them that opportunity. And I do think, and I go back to your comments about being prepared. It is crucial, and having a good agent. And we talked a little bit about the market. Having a good agent and a good loan officer to get you through can make these transactions even better, get you the best possible rates. So the partnership with the real estate agents, and they're working a lot behind the scene to make these go smooth for the buyers. So, selecting the right properties. Again, I mentioned condos being popular. So you may need your agent to look and make sure that those condos are warrantable, or,
Oh, you got to back up.
Okay, I'll back
warrantable.
up. Warrantable. I know.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so you want to make sure that ultimately these loans are saleable, right? So you want to make sure that the condo project is warrantable. And we know that condo projects these days have some issues with insurance and budgets and everything else. So
it's a technical term that you and I understand, that the average person says, well, I'm going to get a home warranty, so doesn't that count?
Right.
It's not the same thing.
No.
Right. So warrantable means will the government agencies, the government sponsored entities, will they take that loan once it's originated by whomever does the origination? And if they won't take it, doesn't mean it's a bad property necessarily. It just means that it doesn't fit some of the guidelines that Fannie, Freddie, or Ginnie have laid out, and that's what makes it a non-warrantable. So again, that's doing your homework up front.
It is. Yeah, the loan officers there are crucial to helping you coach you along with getting your credit score above that 640 FICO score, getting that debt to DTI, like he was talking about earlier, under 50%.
Debt to income ratios.
Yep, there you go. And then getting you into the income and property that first is best for you. So yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm going to submit that I do have on my computer access to a report card for nearly every producing real estate agent in the country. So I'm going to suggest that there are people specialize in a lot of different niches. And again, you've got some people that are excellent people that dealing with luxury properties. There are people that are specialized, both lenders and realtors that specialize in these down payment programs. There are some that specialize in VA programs. So if you want to know about an agent in your neighborhood, I can tell you that, hey, Mr. Jones has done 10 FHA loans in the last 12 months. Well, that might be somebody that makes sense for you for us to introduce you to. If their average loan amount is $3 million, great agent, but it might not be the best fit for you. And we just want to make sure that you're getting the right fit. As Frank just mentioned, you want to deal with somebody that understands programs, right? And and I can tell you from doing this since the last century, there's a lot of programs. It's hard to keep on top of all of them.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this one is it's very simple. They're not trying to make it complicated.
I like simple.
And it's efficient. The California program, these loans pump. I mean, they never stop. I almost get a new one every day, and they come in.
So you know what I want you to help me with, though, because we didn't even get there on our discussion.
Time, yeah.
The third. Oh yeah,
yes.
The third mortgage.
Yeah.
How does that work?
The state just rolled out to a new program in April. It's called the My Access Third. So there's a couple thirds. There's the ZIP, the zero interest percentage third, and the My Access Third. And the My Access Third accrues simple interest at 1%, whereas the ZIP, zero interest percentage, accrues zero interest on that program. So those are just silent third mortgages. So you're getting the down payment assistance, but you're also getting that third mortgage, usually to help with closing costs. But with the new My Access program that just rolled out, you can also use that for down payment assistance too. So like I say, for example, you use 3% funds from the state on the down payment assistance, but you also kicked in some of the My Access program to get it at 95% loan to value, plus a little extra funds for closing costs. You can do that with the new program. And that's just came out. So yeah, those new programs are great.
So there's a lot to these things that one needs to understand, or deal with a loan officer.
Deal with a
that
good loan
does,
officer and
right?
lender
Because that way you don't have
knows,
to
yes.
you don't have to deal with it. You just say, okay. And really, when you think about it, if anybody that can borrow money at 1% would be foolish not to.
Well, yeah, and again,
It sounds like it's too good to be true. What am I missing? What are the downsides of the speed bumps that I need to think about, Frank?
yeah, I don't know that there is. I think, I do see these loans usually come back in year 3 to 5, and just to your point about the average refinance rate. And so that's completely fine. I mean, it's a matter of money again. So the people that have 40, 50, 60,000, you're probably looking at doing a regular 95% conventional or something like that. But when you do have 10, 15, 20,000, there is no downsize versus paying 4 to 5,000 a month in rent if you have the income to get yourself into your first home.
Yeah, especially if you can get that down payment assistance. So if you're looking at an $800,000 condo and I can get 3% assistance, that's $24,000 if my math is correct. And if I'm getting that as a silent second, and what's that, 1% interest, you said?
Simple interest, yeah.
Simple interest. So I've got to pay it back when I refinance, 3 to 5 years. Property is appreciated on the gross amount, not just the loan amount, for whatever real estate is going to appreciate at. Again, historic number of 5% in Southern California. You're looking at a lot of good things to be owning property as opposed to being, just having a rent receipt that you can put up on the wall and say, I've got nice wallpaper. Now, if I've got a Cal HFA program, like we're talking about this morning, and 2 years down the road, I've saved some money, and I go and buy a larger property. I'm not selling this one, but I want to go buy a larger property. Do I have to pay this all back?
You do. They don't, the state is in it to help first-time home buyers. So what the state will ask you to do is refinance that into a non-owner loan and pay off their existing loan and get, cure their funds. So yeah, you won't want to carry rentals with this and turn it into a rental.
Okay. So down the road, you can't do that.
You cannot, no.
Okay. So again, one of those things, I don't want to get anybody in trouble with any kind of mortgage fraud or anything like that. What you do is, again, it all talks about planning.
That's right.
So if you're planning on the strategy that I've told you about for years, is keeping the properties and buying new, is restructure this loan, pay off the second and third, get that new loan as an owner occupied loan, stay there for a year or two so that it's legal, then go and buy the next house you want to and make this one into your rental. So it goes back to what we've said all along: strategy beats rate always. And you're going to want to go and set up that long and short-term strategies that meet your family goals. And we help you do that all along the way. Frank, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you helping out and educating us. I'm sure we'll have more questions. The beauty of it is if you give us a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, I know how to get a hold of Frank. If I don't know the answer, he does.